Hey, good morning, guys. It's Miss Chrissy, and I'm going to be doing our story this morning. So I know last week we learned about um, the people trying to build a giant staircase to heaven, right? And that didn't go so well. God confused their language, and everyone scattered all over the world um, and spoke different languages after that because people were trying to live without God instead of relying on Him. And we learned that didn't go so well. And we also learned that God was going to send a rescuer one day. Our next story, called The Son of Laughter, talks about the promise that God makes to a man named Abraham to send that rescuer through his family. So it's a very cool story. It comes from Genesis 12 through 21. So I'm going to show you our story for The Son of Laughter. All right. Years passed and things didn't get any better. People were still just as cruel and mean to one another. They still got sick and died. God's world was still full of tears. It was never meant to be like this. But God was getting ready to do something about it. He was going to make all the wrong things right, and he was going to do it all through a family. Abraham, God said, "How many stars are there?" God was about to tell his friend a wonderful secret. "Let me see," said Abraham, rolling up his sleeves. "But have you ever tried to count the stars? Then you know how hard it is." Abraham guessed 993,994,997. No, wait. 1, 2, of course he kept losing count. "Too many," he said. "Guess what?" God laughed. "I will give you so many children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren, you won't be able to count them." Abraham couldn't help giggling at such a wonderful idea, but he stopped himself. How could he have a family? Don't be silly. He didn't have any children, let alone grandchildren. He wiped away a tear. Anyway, it was far too late for him to start having babies at his age. He was 99 years old. What could God mean? "Abraham," God said, "believe me." And then God told Abraham his secret rescue plan. "Abraham, I will make your family very big," God promised, "until one day your family will come to number more than even all the stars in the sky." Abraham looked up at the dark night sky thick with stars. "You will be my special family and my people, and through you everyone on earth will be blessed." It was an incredible promise. God was going to rescue the world through Abraham's family. One of his great-great-great-grandchildren would be the child, the promised one, the rescuer. "But it's too wonderful," Abraham said. "How can it be true?" "Is anything too good to be true?" God asked. "Is anything too wonderful for me?" So Abraham trusted what God said more than what his eyes could see, and he believed. Now, when Abraham's wife, Sarah, heard God's promises, she just laughed to herself. But it wasn't a happy laugh. It had tears in it. She'd always wanted a baby, but could her dream come true? Could she really have a baby when she was 90 years old? No, of course not. Don't be silly. It was far too late. Sarah didn't believe God could do what he promised. She had forgotten that when God says something, it's as good as done. Of course, it was as easy for God to give her a baby as it was for him to make all the stars in the sky. Here's our picture of Abraham and Sarah. Sure enough, 9 months later, just as God had promised, Sarah gave birth to a baby boy. They named him Isaac, which means son of laughter. And Sarah laughed. But this time it was a glorious, happy laugh. Her dream had come true. God would do as he promised. He would always look after Abraham's family, his special people. And one day, God would send another baby. A baby promised to a girl who didn't even have a husband. But this baby would bring laughter to the whole world. This baby would be everyone's dream come true. Here's the last picture. I love this story and how it talks about God's promises. I know sometimes we read about promises that God makes to us in the Bible, and sometimes it's hard to believe that they'll come true, or sometimes it's hard to believe that God really wants what's best for us, because sometimes things feel impossible or they feel unpleasant and kind of yucky. But the story is such a great reminder that God always keeps his promises to us, and it turns out so wonderfully because God sends his son Jesus through Abraham's family and rescues the whole world. So we don't have to live in uncertainty about what God's plan was to rescue the world after we brought sin into it. We know that it's Jesus, and that anyone who believes in him is going to have life forever with God in heaven. So it's pretty amazing. So thank you for letting me tell our story this morning. I miss you guys a lot, and I hope that you are doing well and staying healthy. And I can't wait to see you all again soon. Bye, guys.